Hello and welcome to the notes on solving two-step equations, topic 8-3. So today we will be solving two-step equations and then writing them and solving them as well. Taking a look at the launch, it's very similar to the one that we had the other day. Again, we've got our shaky bagel baker. Decides to just divide 13 to decide how much to charge for each bagel. Looking at our situation, it says though that you buy 1 dozen and you'll get the 13th for 13 cents. So if you just divided $5.53 by 13, would that actually give you the price per bagel? So it says, does his method represent the per bagel price his crosstown rival charges for bagels 1 to 13? Explain your reasoning. So, again, we said yesterday that we're going to say let X be the price of the bagel, or cost, or per bagel. And we said that we've got 12 bagels all at the same price, so we multiply them by the same cost. Plus we add on the 13 cents to give us the $5.53 for the total. So if I was to just divide by 13, would I get the same answer as if I was to solve this equation? And most, you should be saying, no, you would not. So what we're going to do, because we haven't really talked about how to solve the equations yet, is it says solving a two-step equation requires transforming the equation into a series of simpler equivalent equations until you isolate the variable on one side and a number on the other side. This is the same statement that we had the other day, but now it applies a little bit more when you have 2 steps or more in your equation. So isolate the variable, again, means to get the variable alone, and we have to perform the opposite operations here. So they're telling us to solve any two-step equation, you first must undo any addition or subtraction, then undo any multiplication or division, and then, the beauty of equations, we can check to see if we have the correct answer. So they're giving us a complete example here. They're giving us this equation, and then I am walking you through exactly how to solve it. So it says that because we have addition, we're going to undo that by subtracting 1 5/10 from both sides. Then I've got x divided by 3, so I'm going to undo that division by multiplying both sides by 3, and I get my answer of 3 75/100. Then for the check, you're going to rewrite that original equation again, and then substitute your answer that you got for x in place of the x. So then we go through and use our order of operations. 3 75/100 divided by 3 does give us 1 25/100. Then double check, does 1 25/100 plus 1 5/10 equal 2 75/100? Yes, it does. So the check, it's important that we do know how to solve the check. Question number 1. They are showing us here that I've got k divided by 2 plus 7 3/10 equals 29 3/10. I like to again draw the line down the equal sign to remind myself that there are 2 sides to the equation. I have an addition sign, so the opposite of addition is to subtract or inverse. So I'm going to subtract 7 3/10 from both sides. Bring down the k divided by 2. We have not done anything with that. 29 3/10 minus 7 3/10 will give me 22. I've got k divided by 2, so I'm now going to multiply by 2, or 2 first, because that allows me to cross-cancel those 2's. But because I multiply by 2 on the left, I have to also remember to multiply by 2 on the right, which leaves me with k equals 22 times 2 to give me 44. I'm going to have you go on and try number 2 on your own. All right. So I got the answer of m is -3. You need to make sure again that you divide both sides by the -4. You don't want to leave your variable as a negative. That technically it's not alone. If you have your answer as -m equals 3, this variable is not isolated, so that would not be correct. I'm also just showing you again how to do the check and make sure that, phew, I got it correct. We're going to try number 3 together, and then I'll have you try number 4 on your own. So when I look at number 3, I do see a fraction, and I know that some of us are thinking that we're going to stick with a division, but we had some difficulty with this the other day. This is a 2-step equation still. I have a fraction times a variable and then plus 9. So the opposite of adding 9 is to subtract 9. You always start with your addition or subtraction first. because we're working with order of operations backwards. We're undoing the problem. So I'm left with 1/5 x equals 11. And then I could, and I'm going to show it in red, I could go 1/5 and divide by 1/5 on both sides and figure out the answer. There's nothing wrong with that, but we've also talked about this before, that if I have a fraction times a variable, in order to isolate the variable, all I need to do is multiply by the reciprocal. So if I multiply by 5 first, or just 5, that cancels out over here. So you're multiplying by the reciprocal. Leaves me with 55. All right. Go on and do number 4. All right. So I'm putting a little note here again to remind myself that yes, you do need to multiply by the reciprocal because that's the fastest way to cancel out the coefficient. Make sure when you do your cross canceling on the left side right over here, that when you do -12 divided by 2, you need to make sure you're writing -6, but you get a final answer of x equals -18. So now we are going to write and solve the equations, but first we're just going to read that if you have the phrases less than and subtracted from, that means that you actually need to translate from right to left. For example, if I have $8 less than John, we would write the expression as John minus 8 to represent how much money I have. So question number 5 says that you are ordering concert tickets online. Each ticket costs $39.95, and you have a processing fee of $12.75. The total cost is $212.50. Write and solve an equation to find the number of tickets ordered. We want to find the number of tickets ordered. So I'm going to say, let X be my number of tickets. In words, to set up my equation, I know that I have the total cost, which you can put the total cost on the left or the right side of the equation. It's up to you. The total cost comes from how many tickets I'm purchasing plus the one-time processing fee. So I've got my ticket price plus the fee will equal my total cost. And the ticket price, depending on the number of tickets I buy, I might be multiplying that times my variable. So if each ticket is $39.95, I'm going to be multiplying that by the number of tickets that we order. Then I add the $12.75 to get the $212.50 as my total. I then go through and solve the equation. So I'm going to subtract $12.75. Leaves me with $39.95x. And then I have $199.75. And then divide both sides by the $39.95. And I will get an answer of 5. I can purchase 5 tickets. You want to kind of go back to what your let statement was, and my let statement said that we were trying to find the number of tickets, so that's what I'm looking for here. Okay, question number 6 says that a boating club rents sailboats for $60 for the first hour and $20 for each additional hour. When you return your boat, your fee is $140. So write and solve an equation to find how many hours you actually kept the boat. Find how many hours that we kept the boat. So I'm going to say, let H be the number of hours. And again, you could have whatever variable you want. So if you wanted to say N for numbers, that's fine. So the equation, if I rent the sailboats for $60 for the first hour, I have to pay that first hour fee plus the number of hours after each additional hour to give me the total for my answer. Now, you might not necessarily have to write this out in words every time. I'm just trying to show you where I'm getting my answers from so that with your notes you've got more information. So the first hour, the fee is $60. And then it's $20 per hour. So that's 20 times the number of hours equals our total cost of $140. I'm going to start by subtracting the 60, that is a positive 60, so I have to subtract it. Leaves me with a positive 28, so notice I've just gotten rid of the plus sign. 140 minus 60 will give me 80. I divide both sides by 20, and I get h is equal to 4. Don't go too quick here. The answer is not 4 because you also rented the boat for 1 hour for $60. So the final answer is really going to be 5. Okay? Go ahead, read number 7, but be very careful here. It does have that phrase less than in there. Okay, so they're saying that Tracy spent 38 less than 3 times what Daniel spent, and Tracy spent $10. So X represents what Daniel spent, so I don't know that. So when I read this statement again, it says 38 less than 3 times what Daniel spent. If what Daniel spent was X, there's my statement, my expression right there. 3 times X minus 38, excuse me, then E is equivalent to what Tracy spent, which is the $10. Work that through, and I get $16 as my answer. All right, thanks for watching. We will see you guys tomorrow.